Welcome to MojoPlays, and please update your game to hear the rest of this intro. These are the 10 games that got better with updates. Back in my day, we had to take games as they were, bugs, glitches, and all. Now, we're lucky enough to be able to tweak games post-release. For better or worse, that's the way it is now, and for better, these are the games it was effective on. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. GTA Online.
With Grand Theft Auto Online, Rockstar Games is looking to bring the heart of the Grand Theft Auto experience to a living online world.
Known for its chaos and mayhem, GTA is almost always praised and respected, and even though GTA 4 featured some fun online moments, GTA 5 has built a wildly successful, profitable, and still incredibly popular online game with GTA 5 Online. Its popularity and success today has made people forget that it truly did have an incredibly rough launch. It launched 2 weeks after the main game, and with the dedicated release, it was plagued by severe connection issues. After 2 attempted fixes over the span of 10 days, the major issues were resolved, transforming it into a captivating experience for players who received $500,000 in game currency as an apology. And that's the kind of update I can get around.
Fun. And getting into trouble. You can run around on your own, making friends and enemies.
Cyberpunk 2077.
What do we got here?
With all the games on this list, Cyberpunk 2077 ranks higher because it only went from terrible to decent, while others had a far better glow up. That being said, it undoubtedly had one of the most infamous and disastrous launches we've ever seen in a video game. Despite multiple delays, the game debuted with strong sales and even stronger backlash. While it performed adequately, and that is truly the bare minimum on PC, players who opted for the old-gen console versions encountered significant issues, even though they were led to believe it would have been fine on older-gen consoles. The game was plagued by bugs that made it nearly unplayable on PS4 and Xbox One, forcing Sony to hand out refunds like candy on Halloween. Fortunately, through updates, the game has reached a state that most would consider acceptable from the outset. It is now playable on all supported hardware. The game will never get the praise it could have had it met the expected standard at launch, but it is widely considered decent today, though many have been burnt too hard to give it a good go.
Alright, let's go.
Fallout 76. Much like Cyberpunk, Fallout 76 had one of the more awful and disastrous launches we'll see on this list, and although it has been updated to playable, it's still just fine. Fallout 76 remains a stain on Bethesda's reputation. Marketed as the ambitious online RPG Fallout fans had long awaited, instead Bethesda pulled down their DAX, bent over and took a massive shit right on our consoles. We've covered a million times what was wrong with this game, but just imagine a barely functioning PS1 remake of Fallout 3. Throughout 2019, updates like Wild Appalachia and Nuclear Winter introduced new content, but it was the 2020 edition of Wastelanders that marked a turning point. Wastelanders notably introduced human NPCs, breathing life into Fallout 76's post-apocalyptic world. Well done, Bethesda. Where's Elder Scrolls 6? Fortnite. Looking at the love-to-hate memified mammoth that Fortnite is today, it's easy to forget its original incarnation. Initially, it was a largely forgettable cooperative PvE survival game before Epic Games pivoted towards the Battle Royale genre inspired by PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This decision turned out to be one of the most lucrative in gaming history, transforming Fortnite into a billion-dollar IP with a global player base in the millions. Today, it's renowned for its diverse gameplay where characters like Rue from Street Fighters can face off against Spider-Man with shotguns. Even though its original game wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, it's inarguable that the game got better with an update and change in direction. It's also arguably one of the most popular games of all time, alongside beasts like Minecraft. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Much like GTA Online, game updates can sometimes obscure just how rough a game's launch was, as seen by Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Today, it stands as a premier esports title with predominantly positive reviews. However, early adopters recall a shaky initial few months for this multiplayer shooter. At one point, Ubisoft even faced the possibility of taking the game offline due to its issues, which by today's standards seems impossible. With hard work and a little bit of elbow grease from Ubisoft Montreal team, the gameplay was overhauled, the maps reworked, and more operatives were added, turning the game into the FPS masterpiece it's known as today.
You must protect your bombs from being defused by our force.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Alright, troopers. It's raining metal out there. Seppies are trying to take Kashyyyk and they want to keep our fleet grounded. We need to buy time to launch. There's a multi-troop transport headed for one of our cruisers. Take out the transport in.
Upon its release, Star Wars Battlefront 2 wasn't actually a bad game. It featured solid controls, an enjoyable, albeit uninspired, single-player mode, and was generally a fun shooter. However, EA anticipated its immense popularity, and recognizing this opportunity, EA and developer DICE decided to heavily incorporate microtransactions into Battlefront 2, which caused consumers to tear it apart like a spoiled kid's Christmas wrapping. A year later, and amidst widespread backlash, EA yielded and unlocked all heroes in the game, a pivotal demand from players. Also, their initial apology on Reddit holds the Guinness World Record for the most downvoted comment of all time. So there's that.
Damage to the MTT!
Street Fighter V.
Thanks for the help. You after Shadaloo?
Yes. I've followed them since the Black Moons appeared. Shadaloo is involved with the destruction in New York.
Street Fighter V faced significant issues with bugs and connectivity upon its release, but its most glaring flaw was the lack of content. Starting to see a pattern? While launching with 16 fighters was respectable, the initial release was notably devoid of a story mode and an arcade mode, the latter being a standard feature since the days of Street Fighter II. Much like all the entries on this list, both these modes were added with later updates, questioning the choice to release without it to this day. Looking at its current version, it is one of Capcom's most polished fighting games to date, but it was a close one. It was almost time for a fatality finisher.
It can't be over!
Halo: The Master Chief Collection.
We're coming in too fast! Damn! Air brake failure! They flew too early! I'm losing her! Brace for impact!
Halo: The Master Chief Collection should have been released under the title Halo and the Library of Crap. Persistent server and matchmaking issues made multiplayer an ordeal, particularly with the older games like Halo 2 plagued by bugs and glitches. Even single-player experiences offered only partial relief, frequently crashing on the Xbox One. Fast forward to the 2020s and the Master Chief Collection has transformed into not just the definitive Halo experience today, but the ultimate destination for Halo enthusiasts. The collection achieved all promises and then some, making it the third entry on this list.
Not again!
Final Fantasy XIV. As the second most infamous comeback on our list, Final Fantasy XIV deserves a big mention. When it debuted in 2010, it was a major disappointment, presenting as a hollow game with poor gameplay, a cumbersome interface, and pervasive lack of polish. Despite its stunning visuals, the game struggled immensely. Running it required Bitcoin mining PC power and an exorcism from an Italian priest. To salvage it, Square Enix enlisted Naoki Yoshida, known as Yoshi P, fresh from his success with Dragon Quest X, to revitalize the original Final Fantasy XIV while simultaneously developing a completely new version to replace it. Imagine that. Your friend cooks a terrible roast meal for Thanksgiving, and you've got to polish his monstrous cooking to present to everybody, while simultaneously making a whole separate and better Thanksgiving roast. Finally, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn launched to widespread acclaim from both critics and players, and Yoshi P gave us one of the most succulent roast turkeys we've ever tasted. Yum. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is the biggest and best example of the transformative power of post-launch updates. Leading up to its highly anticipated release way back in 2016, the game promised players an expansive universe filled with uncharted planets to explore. Pre-release trailers portrayed it as an unforgettable experience, but for many who purchased it at launch, they were met with what appeared to be a totally different game from what was promised. To go into everything that was left out or lied about from the publicity circuit the game went on would take all day. With their reputation burnt to the ground, Hello Games got back to work, steadily releasing a series of updates over the following years. These updates not only addressed numerous issues, but also introduced substantial new features, ultimately transforming No Man's Sky into arguably the finest space simulation ever crafted. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.